Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. It is Friday. Yes, I'm so glad that it's weekend. I don't know about you, but this week has been like another long week. They go quick, but they feel long, if that makes any sense. I mean, I can't believe it's already Friday, but then when I sit and think about it, I'm like, damn, that week has been a real ball drag. But I've been positive all week, like I said I was going to on Monday, and I think that's all that matters. Excuse the way I'm sitting today. I am in absolute agony. I was working out in the garden yesterday afternoon and this morning, and I picked up some heavy stuff, and my back went, and I've got bad back as it is, and I think I've herniated another disc. So I am going to have to go to the doctors at some point, either today or tomorrow, and if I can even get seen tomorrow, and check what it is, because I am in agony. My legs are numb, even my bum is numb. So it's quite an interesting day. I've stolen my kid's computer chair, just so I can hopefully be a little bit more comfortable, and yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare. Today's video we're reacting to is why Americans are obsessed with big cars. And I just want to put this out there. I am not American, and I love big cars. I don't feel safe driving in a small car. I don't know why. It's just something. Even my missus, we've always had bigger cars. Like at the moment, we've got a SUV style car, a 4x4. But my ideal car is a big grunty pickup truck, and that's coming in the future. It's coming in the future. I just got to be patient, bide my time. All good things come to those who wait. So, without further ado, before we get into that, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you're feeling extra frisky on this Friday, please make sure you hit the like button as well. And without further ado, let's get into why Americans are obsessed with big cars. Ooh, caddy.
Americans love big cars.
Big cars they're fun, they're roomy. I mean, this thing, when you go down the road in it, people...
That's it, they roomy as well. I mean, I hate feeling cramped. I'm quite a tall, skinny, I'm a long dude. So I don't like being cramped up. I need my space.
Big cars they're fun, they're roomy. I mean, this thing, when you go down the road in it, people notice it.
The U.S. is the country of Cadillacs with massive tail fins and oversized...
Oh, look at that. Look at it. There it is. That's my dream there. That is my dream car. A bloody Lambo or a Ferrari. That's what I want.
We are all about wide open spaces here, and we drive big cars because we can.
Compared with Europe or countries like Japan, the market for bigger cars in America is just...
Oh, look at that. Even the house in the
Europe,
background.
For example, small cars like city cars, subcompacts, and compact cars made up more than 35% of sales in 2021. In the US, the same three segments made up just over 10% of sales. Consumer demand has driven automakers to make vehicles bigger and bigger, regulatory loopholes favoring.
These videos today, this video is going to do something to me, because I do love a pickup. Look at that. Even the cottage that it was parked in front of is like my dream house with my dream car in front of it.
Trucks, say some industry analysts, have helped the shift. Big cars are more expensive, often much more, and especially if they burn gasoline, more harmful to the environment. They take up more space on the road and in parking lots. They are also much more fatal in car accidents.
Our current system...
There goes I thought I was safer. They're more fatal in car accidents. Oh, well, you learn something new every day, eh?
Regulating safety of vehicles is not providing a check on the weight of vehicles and the disparity of weight across the fleet.
CNBC looked into America's obsession with big cars and why it matters.
Copyright.
This car is huge. It's almost 20 feet.
20 feet?
Why are they so big?
Because they could be. Gas was a quarter when this car was made. Who cared what the gas mileage was? And we wanted comfort, and we wanted style, and we wanted space.
This is Rick Payton.
That car could
He is
talk,
a General
eh?
Motors loyalist. He loves Cadillacs, and especially Cadillacs from the brand's heyday in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. At that time, big cars meant something similar to what they mean today. Luxury, comfort, and status. Driving a lumbering Cadillac or Lincoln Continental signified that you are a person living the good life.
My aunt had a '79 Coupe de Ville. And I remember that car as a kid and fondly remember it.
He has 2 classic Cadillacs and a Buick in his garage in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and several more such cars in a shop a few towns away.
This is a Cadillac Eldorado. This was the king of the heap in '55. So this was the most expensive car they made. This is the second most expensive car they made in '55. This is a '55 Fleetwood. So cool things about this. Where would you put gas in this car?
Oh man, that's pretty cool.
Car's about probably 19 feet something.
That's huge.
His collection shows the American obsession with big vehicles stretches
Oh, even
back
that, I like
decades. Cars
Like a
such as
camper?
his Cadillac Fleetwood were the most desirable rides of their day.
This was the king of the heap. I mean, they didn't make a more luxurious car in the United States in 1961 than this. This is one of the biggest cars that you could buy at the time. This was the SUV of the day. This is the closest representation of what an Escalade is back then.
Ed Kim runs Auto Pacific, which conducts surveys and other research for automakers, suppliers, and others in the auto industry.
One of the things that researchers commonly ask is, what size of vehicle do you want next time? And there will almost always be a significant number of people that say, I want something bigger next time.
Yeah.
Customers express preferences for bigger vehicles. Automakers respond to that. Take, for example, the BMW 3 Series, an iconic performance sedan. When it was first introduced, it was far smaller than it is today.
A lot of people kind of consider the E36 generation, which came out in the early 90s, to kind of be the ideal embodiment of what a 3 Series should be. But it just kept getting bigger, to the point where now it's not so far off from what the 5 Series was not that long ago.
Kim says that this kind of size creep, where automakers bulk up a specific model over time, might result from misinterpreting survey data.
Automakers take that data very literally and take that to mean, okay, we need to make the next generation of this vehicle bigger. And then because automakers always benchmark each other automakers end up doing the same and they make their vehicles bigger.
I think it's just like a comfort thing as well. It has to be, because I've got 2 kids and we've got a 7-seater, and it's still uncomfortable sometimes, you know. We don't even use the back, like the far back seats. They always folded down for space, but it still feels really cramped. We've always got, you know, when you go somewhere and you got all your shopping in the car, it's a nightmare. I like a big car where you got a bit of space. I mean, my missus she used to have a Nissan Qashqai, and I didn't like it. It looked big, but then you get inside and I'd have to fold myself over. And I mean, even in the car we got now, that hurt. If I sit up straight, my head is on the roof. So, yeah.
And the cycle goes on and on and on.
My back is killing me.
Researchers at Consumer Reports have found evidence of size creep, especially among pickup
That is a
trucks.
beast.
The group found that the hood height of passenger trucks, such as the top-selling Ford F-150,
Oh, that's
the
it.
Chevrolet Silverado,
That's the one I want.
and even mid-sized
Ford
trucks,
Ranger or
has increased
F-150.
by an
Can't get the
average of
F-150s,
11%
yeah,
since the
for-
year 2000. New
Unless you are minted, so that sucks.
pickup trucks grew 24% heavier on average from 2000 to 2018.
On some of these, you know, what they call heavy-duty trucks, like the Ford F-250, the 2500 series Ram and Silverado.
Look at that house, look at that
front
car.
edge of that hood is now 55 inches or more off the ground, and that's as tall as the roof of some sedans.
The reintroduced Ford Ranger is bigger than the outgoing version that was discontinued in 2011. In fact, when Ford dropped the old Ranger in 2011, it said it did so because not enough people were buying small trucks to keep producing it.
It isn't necessarily that trucks themselves are getting bigger. It's more that when a bigger option is available, more customers buy it.
SUVs, crossovers, and pickup trucks now dominate car sales. Some researchers say that regulations have incentivized automakers to make bigger vehicles. Kate Whitefoot is a researcher who has studied emissions rules. She says that when the government started regulating fuel efficiency in the 1970s, rules didn't take into account the size of the vehicles an automaker sold. But a lot of companies importing into the US market were selling smaller cars that by nature burned less fuel. So in the early 2000s, new regulations introduced what is called a footprint-based standard.
That meant that automakers that sold larger vehicles could meet less stringent regulations, and that was
I didn't realize this video was going to be so scientific-y sort of thing, so I apologize. I thought it was going to be just showing off some awesome cars.
Built out of this desire to kind of protect the US-based automakers and fairly distribute impacts across the different automakers.
That created an incentive to build larger vehicles in 3 ways. One is that the standards themselves are based on the sizes of vehicles that automakers are producing. The more large vehicles they produce, the lower the regulatory target they have to hit is. That in itself can create an incentive to shift toward larger vehicles. Secondly, the revised rules split vehicles into 2 categories: passenger cars and light trucks, which includes SUVs and pickup trucks.
If a vehicle is classified as a light truck, then it also has less stringent regulations compared to if it was classified as a passenger car.
Lastly, if a vehicle is big enough, it doesn't fall under the rules at all. It is no longer considered a light-duty vehicle. It is now considered a heavy truck. Whitefoot and fellow researchers did a study in 2011 that basically predicted the repercussions of such laws.
When we evaluate those trade-offs, does this incentive exist under these regulations for automakers to increase the size of their vehicles? And we did see that it could under quite a large set of scenarios.
Oh, shut
The
up.
overall
Just let us have
size
our
and
big
weight of
cars.
the fleet haven't changed all that much. They have taken off in certain segments, especially in pickup trucks. Since the mid-1990s, pickup truck weight
I can tell you now, if I had one of those, it would not be as clean as that, because I like a bit of off-road missioning. Sorry for bumping the table. I'm just trying to get comfortable. I'm in a world of pain.
on average has increased over 1,000 pounds.
Oh, don't do this to me.
Research has found that in the event of a crash, a 1,000-pound increase in weight increases the chance of a fatality by 40 to 50%.
Oh, thanks.
The problem is that other people on the road can't choose how big the vehicles around them are. They also can sometimes create situations where a crash that may have been avoidable isn't as avoidable. So we found that some trucks have front blind spots that are 11 feet longer than in some sedans and 7 feet longer than in a lot of popular SUVs.
Damn.
We've seen like what we call an arms race in vehicle size and weight, because if I'm concerned about my own safety, I'm just concerned about, is my vehicle bigger and heavier than other vehicles around me? And so vehicles, as a result, get larger and larger and larger because people just want to outcompete each other.
Big cars tend to be more expensive than small ones.
Don't knock the lights on, man.
Median transaction prices rise pretty considerably over the last few years. Part of that is due to the simple fact that small entry-level vehicles have increasingly been disappearing from US showrooms.
Automakers are axing small models.
Oh,
The Toyota Yaris
know
is
that.
gone from the US. Ford discontinued just about all its passenger cars, including its Focus and
flippin'
Fiesta.
heck. I did
Chevrolet got
not
rid
know
of the
that,
Sonic.
because I thought like they would still be popular, you know? I know people like their big cars over in the States, but I didn't realize they were just, nah, we don't want any small cars at
the
all.
Cruise. The Hyundai Accent and Kia Rio are on their way out. The Nissan Versa sells just a fraction of what
Yeah,
it
look
used
how
to.
small it
And
is.
that
You can put it in
applies
your
for
pocket.
Entire brands specializing in small cars, like Fiat. They have left the US entirely. Meanwhile, Fiat's American sister brands, Ram and Jeep, have become tremendously successful, selling some of the most popular vehicles available today: big SUVs and pickup trucks. While small cars are tough to sell in much of the US, they are still popular where roads are too narrow, gas is too pricey, and parking too scarce to justify hulking pickups or SUVs. But SUVs are seeing serious growth in Europe too. An
Yeah.
analysis from Jono Dynamics has found that in 2018, about 30% of new cars registered were SUVs. In 2021, that number had reached nearly 40%. That popularity comes at the expense of small cars, which have gone from 49% of share in 2018 to about 42% in 2021. That trend has continued in the first half of 2022.
And yet you still see people driving around in those stupid little smart cars. I hate those things with a passion. Do you know, when I was in South Africa and I was still playing rugby with the guys at high school, there was one of those smart cars. Was it in high school? Might have been after high school. Anyway, there was a smart car parked. We went, picked the car up, turn it around. It was a big group of us the other way. Must have confused the life out of whoever was driving it the next day. I could have sworn I parked, you know. Stupid story, I know, but I just can't stand those cars.
There's a possibility that the rise of electric vehicles could change all this. Electric powertrains take up a lot less space in cars than do internal combustion engines. With more interior space, some industry analysts say it is possible Americans will seek out smaller cars simply because new EV vehicle designs will make better use of a car's total footprint. Tastes change too, even after decades of obsession. Peyton has lately developed a fascination with small, agile British cars. He bought a 1961 MG-A, which is dwarfed by the size of his catalog.
Jeez, could fit in
I've
there.
always flirted with British cars. They're interesting. They look at a different way to do it.
American GIs became obsessed with cars like these during World War II. That obsession unnerved American car makers enough to prompt the creation of a new generation of smaller, more agile American cars, such as the Corvette, the Ford Thunderbird, and eventually the Ford Mustang, each a legend in its own right.
The whole start of the Americans' love affair with the automobile and sports cars, that all came out of English cars.
Well, let me know what you think down in the comments. Would you prefer a big car or a smaller car? I know I'm a big car kind of guy. I'm not a big petrol head or motor head or whatever you want to call it, but I just feel more comfortable. Even though they say it's more dangerous, I feel comfortable driving a bigger vehicle. I think it gives me, I don't know, I like being higher up and being able to see around and see my surroundings. I prefer a bigger car. Let me know what you think down in the comments, because I don't know anybody who would prefer a smaller car, to be honest with you. Okay, my friend group isn't exactly huge here in Slovakia, but everyone we do know has a bigger vehicle. Yeah, so let me know what you think. Anyway, guys, I am going to do something with this back because I am actually really uncomfortable, really in pain, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.